Welcome back. So we're about to talk about Silence, right?
Right.
Silence, one with Claudia from Daedlic, and back with Dan, my brother
Hello.
Skybound. And so Silence, what is? Oh, we just saw the trailer, I believe. I didn't get to see it from that side, but can you tell us what Silence is about?
Silence is an adventure game, a 3D adventure game, and it's a sequel to the Whisper World. It's an adventure game we published a couple of years ago. So this is actually the second part of the game. The first game was in 2D, so we wanted to explore 3D and storytelling with this one. And I'm sorry.
Let's log in and check it out.
Yeah.
But that's very cool. But I mean, Dan, you were mentioning earlier like how you guys, this is a great like relationship you guys have because you both focus on like, you know, that narrative
on
story.
writers, you know, I mean, it really comes down to, you know, the fact that when we met with Daedlic a couple months ago that they, we immediately recognized that the DNA of both companies is the same.
Right.
So, you know, this game is, you know, created by one of the founders of Daedlic, who's, you know, basically, you know, a writer and the creator of the game. So it's like, to us, it's like a perfect natural extension because, especially because they're storytellers.
Right.
So it's like, all right, let's do something together. Comic-Con, let's put Swifter in the stage. Let's talk about the game.
And that's great. You just brought up, like, you know, like they have like lots of cool games. Like I could just definitely see the relationship there with just like, you know, the storytelling being so important.
And this game is beautiful. This is like, when I first saw this game, I started asking Claudia some questions about, you know, the engine. Like some of the first questions, what is this built on? And and when she told me it was built on Unity, I was just like, are you kidding me? Because this looks like a beautiful animated film.
Oh man,
it really is truly special. And so once it gets cued in up here, you can kind of see the art style. And I think the way they did it too, Claudia, you should speak to this, because the way you described the way the art was sort of implemented into the engine is super fascinating. It's something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, so the Whisper World, so the prequel being a 2D game, we wanted to keep true to the art style of the first game so that people would feel familiar with the game. So the entire art was created in 2D, so painted, hand-painted in 2D and then projected onto the 3D models in Unity, which is a bit of a tedious process, but we're really proud of the results. So we think it makes
paid
a huge
off.
difference.
Look how beautiful that is. It's like the characters' faces. It's like this like it's like pages coming to life.
It's a beautiful cinematic animated film.
Right. Oh, I just love how like the cloth and the fabrics just come to life also on the clothes and the scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the faces too. Faces that animated.
So now, like, if I haven't played the previous game, I'm sure you'd get more out of it if you did, but like, does the game kind of like, you know, bring you and introduce you to kind of like, give you kind of some background details? Like, can I enjoy the game still?
Definitely. So basically what we're seeing right now is the intro of the game, and that kind of gives you a little bit of a recap what the first game was about. It's actually about two siblings, Noah and his little sister Rini. They're orphans, and the first game was actually more about Noah. He dreamt that he was someone else, Sadwick, the sad clown in the magical world Silence. And at the end of the game, he actually tells the story in the intro to his little sister, who loves that story. So in the end of the game, it turns out that he was just dreaming about Silence, and saving or destroying Silence kind of brought him back to life. So he woke up from his illness. And in the second part, they probably go back to Silence, the two of them.
So that part just was so sad though. With like, you've closed the door, things going outside, and just someone just had like their gloves just on the window, and you just have to make the decision like, no, like they can't get in. Just like already you can tell like, you know, like this is gonna pull some heartstrings.
Yeah, he's still a little boy, but he gets, you know, he has to make a couple of decisions because the world is war-torn. The village where they live gets attacked by fighter planes. So all he is about protecting his little sister. He loves her to bits. So he kind of becomes a reluctant hero for her to get her through this.
So it's about him kind of growing into the situation, stepping up and like, you know, he has to protect his sister.
Yeah.
Wow, how long have you guys been working on the game? Because it looks like there's so much detail, so much like attention and care has been put into it.
Yeah, we've been working unusually long on this game for us. I think it's about 2 years.
Oh wow!
But that's to do with the art style and changing to 3D. So we took a couple of turns and tried things out, how it works best, and then found eventually the solution we have now. So it took a while, but it's almost ready now.
Oh wow! No, and it looks like it's worth it. I mean, I'm sure you guys are really satisfied with the way it came out because I mean, it just looks really special for the style. So Silence.
Right.
And so for the play style of the game, like, is it kind of like, point and click, or like how does actual gameplay kind of like, feel for the player? Are they making like, I saw there was like some story, like dialogue choices you make as you go through.
Right, yeah, it's a classic point-and-click adventure in a 3D environment. So it's a lot about the story, and there's a lot of the two siblings talk to each other, and they have to. You can play actually both characters. Sometimes you play Rini, sometimes you play Noah. And they also have a little sidekick that was already there in the first game, which is Spot. He's a giant green caterpillar, and he's not talking all that much, but he can do a lot of things, and he's always there to cheer them up and to help them out in difficult situations.
There's a lot of puzzle solving involved as well. So.
So in this case, what would be the more comforting? Tell her the last panic attack was a month ago, or?
Sorry?
Oh, wow. Oh no, you were just like,
just go.
Just deal with it.
Yeah. So this is
It
basically
can be pretty brutal if you want to be, right?
Yeah. So they are basically now they're stuck in the bunker. The town gets attacked, and they have to find a way out, or deciding what they get to do.
Right.
If anyone's still alive out there, so Rini obviously is very upset about it.
Oh,
so,
sure, yeah.
And Noah too. Actually, she's usually the cheerful one of the two, and he's the one who worries a lot about what to do. But in this situation, it's the other way around.
Or we could run back to the orphanage.
You talk about the creator.
Yeah, that's Marco Hüllen. Marco Hüllen is one of our writers. And actually, the interesting thing is, or what makes us a little different from other publishers and developers, is that we always, in most of our games, go from a writer's perspective. So we start to write the story first. This one is by Marco Hüllen, who already did the first part. The first part actually was his university thesis, so that was his first work. So he's been working with us for a couple of years, and we always start with the story first, and which is not always easy for the rest of the team, for the developers, designers, but the story always comes first. The writer is basically the creative director or the directive head of the entire project.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's very cool.
So
Yeah, I understand what makes it tough for the rest of the team, because it's like they have to kind of figure out, solve like the game aspects based on the story, right? And so, did they ever kind of come back to you like, well, I see you have this in the story, but can we do X? And just kind of like, nope, the story has to be the way it is.
Yeah, that's a little bit how it works.
I put that box there, man. That box is not going anywhere.
Yeah, it sometimes isn't easy, because a lot of development process, you go from a game design point, figure out what people you want players to do in a game.
Right.
And it's a little easier to come from the story when you do adventure games,
right.
Because they are mostly 90% about experiencing the story. But still, in 3D, you have to make choices. You have to, in terms of game design and player pathfinding, and that sometimes isn't easy to still tell the story that you want to tell and have people experience it. So, yeah.
Can we walk around the room a little bit and see what it's like to
Sure.
kind of walk around the game world?
Sure.
Crazy.
So right now here,
so nice.
you just your goal is to cheer up Rini, who's crying because she's afraid. So you have to find something to cheer
like
her
a
up.
toy or.
And now you found some marbles, so you try to cheer up with that.
So with this being story based, is there just one final ending for it, or is it or do your decisions kind of impact what impact does your decisions have in the game?
A lot actually for an adventure game, because like in the first part, like in the Whispered World, where Noah's alter ego, while he was sick sleeping, Chadwick the sad clown, which he's right now about to impersonate to cheer up Rini. She loves that story. He eventually has to destroy Silence, the world that he lives in, to save Noah, so that Noah can wake up and live on in his real life. And something like that is probably also going to happen in this part. So the two of them have to make choices to either save the world Silence or to save themselves, because they cannot live in both worlds.
That's a pretty tough choice, right?
It's
You
a
save the
tough
world or
choice,
yourself. It's
that decision
again.
Not a choice.
Yeah, ultimately, Silence is a way of for the siblings to deal with very harsh facts in the real life. So,
Right.
and that could be something for everyone. A way of dealing with sad things.
Right.
So, but you get to explore a lot of really, really beautiful places and meet a lot of people. And you can play both of them. You can play Rini for a bit, and Noah, and also the little green caterpillar.
So how does that work when you're like switching like characters? Is there kind of like, is it just like, you know, when you get to a part of the game where it's like now you play as X character, or do you actually get to like switch between like, you know, who you're playing as? Like, how does that
really,
work?
not really, because in this game it kind of makes sense that some challenges that you have to master, you know, they're easy to do with one of the particular characters.
Ah, gotcha.
And they also get separated at some point, so they have to find each other. So you get to play both sides of the story and their respective experiences.
Cool, yeah, checking out different perspectives as they're going through the same storyline. Very cool, very cool. So, like in this particular case, like here at the beginning of the game, you're still like in this bunker. There's still like, you know, kind of chaos going outside. Like, how do you like? Where do you go from here? Do you kind of like, you know, walk out and you're in this war-torn kind of town, or like?
No, this is actually the beginning of Silence. So. I'm not sure if we can speed this up. So basically, what happens is the bunker gets attacked, and Noah loses Rini. He can't find her again. So it's dark. The light goes out, and he has to find Rini. And of course, she got lost in Silence. So he has to re-enter Silence, which he has no good memories about, obviously, because he's already been there. And so he has to. There's basically a portal to Silence, and he has to follow her to find her. Yeah, that's
right now, if this doesn't work, nothing will cheer her up. I mean, come on. Like, like reverse donkey head works every single time. Oh, look at that!
Well, ask him yourself when he shows up.
Success. So
is it like
clown.
several kind of
And
like,
now
you kind of like build it up slowly, like, wow, she's a tough customer. Oh, there you go.
Sock puppets.
So the socks, that's
Today's
spots,
show is all
basically.
about audience requests.
Ooh, a little show.
I want a story about silence.
Really?
So now he tells her the story about, he doesn't really want to talk about it, he'd rather, hear the fart song.
This is Zeke's song.
Right.
But she absolutely loves that story, so she wants to hear it again. So for her to cheer up, he tells her about it, which gives the player the background he needs to in order to be ready for the second part.
Sure. And his world.
She's a tough customer. She demanded that story.
Yeah, but she's really very cheerful. So she's also absolutely fearless.
Right.
And that sometimes gets her into situations where Noah's constantly worried about him because she's basically everything he has left. So it's actually interesting how the two of them evolve throughout the game.
Right. But I guess it's just kind of like, you have to have that kind of attitude to kind of survive in that circumstance that you're in, right?
They made their way
very cool. So when do you believe the game will actually be like, released?
It's it's almost ready. So we're publishing it for consoles as well, so Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And we're going to show it hands-on at Gamescom as well this year in the summer.
Very cool.
And we're going into console submission right now, so it's basically ready. And then depending on submission, we can bring it out maybe this fall. So hopefully,
seems like a really.
I'm looking at the chat, and everybody's been calling for it. I guess it's been something that obviously the Whispered World is something that a lot of fans have been waiting for the next iteration of that.
Yeah, they've been very patient with us. So we're glad that is coming out now.
So what would you say is like the hardest part of actually been like making this game? So I mean, you mentioned that the kind of game, that graphical look was really like like very precise for you guys, very like tough. Was there anything else that was really stood out as being something really important that you had to focus on, to maybe more just you want to put a lot of time towards it? Anything else?
Basically because I think the story between the two siblings, that was we really wanted people to get a feeling how important the two are for each other, because that's eventually going to decide what's happening in the game and how the game ends. They basically save the world by saving each other. So it's about sibling love, and that's it's really touching, and that's what we wanted to bring across with the dialogues and also with the story. yeah, that was the most important part.
I mean, you can't go wrong with fart songs in the dialogue. I mean,
That's right
I'm
there.
totally down for that. I've
It's a
seen
little
the
something
demand
for
in chat.
everything, everybody.
Absolutely.
It's not just sad though. I mean, I don't want to, but Spot, which you cannot, you just saw his sock representation right now.
Sure, yeah.
So when you see him in a real game, he's actually really funny. He's kind of the comic relief of the
But
game.
you are dealing with
Yeah.
a sibling relationship and
Yeah.
all the sort of nuances and fart songs are
sure.
part of that. So
Exactly.
I know how I dealt with my
Exactly.
brother, and that was definitely the
Yeah.
torture that I endured.
Definitely.
Oh, but Claudia, thanks so much. Like, Silence looks
Thanks for
absolutely
having
amazing,
us.
beautiful,
Yeah,
and
it's
can't wait to
beautiful
see it
game.
out and about. Yeah,
It's
can't wait.
amazing. Yeah, I can't
Thank
wait.
you so much.
Thank
It's
you so
great.
much.
And Dan, thanks as always, man.
Yeah.
So guys, we'll be right back with some more action. Stay right there. Have a great day ahead of us. See you soon.